Welcome back. So the second session we're doing today in the bands focused workouts is a pull session. So I'm going to start with the seated row. What we're going to do is take your band, get the right resistance for you. Again, what we want to do is put the hands through the middle, hands focusing out. We're going to wrap it around the feet and make sure the feet, the bands where they're focused on the feet is going to be quite close together at the lower part. Make sure that it's not, well, you've got one up here, because obviously you might be needing a trip to A&E. So lock the legs out. From there, with locked arms, what I want you to do is take a slight lean back, so just lower the 90 degrees. We want to then produce this we call thoracic extension. I want you to push that chest out. Now keep that position as we row. Again, slide the shoulders together, similar to the movement that we did with the chest press, where we squeezed the shoulders together at the back, what we call gripping the pencil between the shoulder blades, but obviously in reverse, and then back. So we're going to slide, squeeze, emphasize the hold, bring it back, keep the body in the same position so you don't start doing this kind of a row movement. You want the torso immobile. All the movement is coming through the arms, and the other thing to think is just make sure that you're not pulling up high and the shoulders are coming to the ears, because that's going to tighten your neck muscles. And if you sat at home a lot, then that's going to be tight anyway. So what we're going to do is, as we row, think that yes, I'm squeezing my shoulders together, but I'm also pulling my shoulders down into my back pockets, not up. The second exercise that we're going to do is a shoulder focused exercise, and it's going to be a lat raise. So what we're going to do is we're going to hook the band under. This is going to be the move. We're going to come up and down. So there's a lot going on here, so I'm going to take it step by step with you. So straighten the band out. Now let's say I want to use this arm. What we've got to do is you've got to take most of the band to the outside of the opposite leg. So that means if I'm flying with my left arm, I'm going to put this under my right foot with the majority of it out to the edge. Now the amount that you move out to the edge is going to determine how hard it is as you get to the top, because obviously a band changes the strength arc, because as I get to the top it gets harder and harder and harder. So if it is just slightly easy, I can drop it in a little bit and come nearer halfway, and then it's a little bit better, and vice versa. If it's too hard, you can move it further out to the edge, right? So usually these red bands are going to be the best ones to use. I won't personally go with anything heavier because that can affect the general quality of the movement. If you can get hold of any lighter ones than this, that's even better. So if this is too hard, what you want to do is have a rummage around and see if you've got any of the TheraBands, the wide thick ones. We'll post a link to a photo here so you know what we mean by that. So as we're going on, what we're going to do is take it to the outside, opposite hand. So I'm into my left arm now. I'm going to just put my back foot in out of the way. From here, what I want to do now is make sure that my shoulder, the deltoid, is being targeted. So my deltoid here, this big muscle that lifts my arm up, is the focus, not my trap, because my trap muscles are responsible for lifting my shoulder up and down, and not that. So remember, as we do this, we want to be coming up, trying to relax at the trap and not pull through both. So if you think the shoulder's raising up because it might be too hard, or the level's too hard that you're going for, try to relax it, and if you need to, then slacken it off and do an easier option. So as we're going through this movement, we're going to take it into the same position. Now we want a very slight bend at your elbow, and the elbows lead. So as I come up, the inside of my arm is faced downwards. Ways that people can get this wrong is they can come up and rotate out, okay, and then sometimes they can get it so the arm is bendy, right? So you want a very slight bend. You keep that same leverage as it comes up, and you keep flat to the floor with the inside of your arm. Remember, elbows lead. Third exercise in the pull session is going to be a bicep curl. So, going back into where we were before, standing in a rectangular position, hands facing up this time, so we call this an underhand position. We're going to get a nice tight grip of it. Pretty simple from here. We want a very slight bend at my knees, and then I want to make sure my elbows stay locked as I come up, curl, and come back down. So my elbows want to be locked in because that is my pivot point. So my elbow pivots around that. If you've ever been in the gym and you've seen people getting it wrong, quote unquote, you might see something like this. All right, all kinds of wacky inventions. So to get it right, elbows locked in, shoulders down, keep the elbows locked in and allow the arm to go up as high as it allows itself to go, and don't fight for extra distance by moving the elbow forward, because that moves the effort from the bicep, which is the target, into the shoulder. So that's what we don't want. Now from here, what I'm going to do is just keep tense at the core, slight bend at the knees, elbows in, squeeze, controlled lower down, squeeze, controlled lower down. Last thing I'll say is that this one, because you can do quite a good resistance with the, or you know, kind of pick a high resistance with a bicep curl, just because of the nature, and it's not bending, it's not stretching too far, is that you tend to get between your thumb and forefinger quite a lot of rubbing. So you might want to use gloves for this one. So the fourth and final exercise of the pull session is going to be an upright row. We're going to stand on it, go back to the rectangular position, this time overhand position, so your hands are facing down. From there, we're already in the right position. Slight bend at your knees, again brace through the core. We're going to drive up through the elbows and then back down. Now this movement is targeting some of the traps and some of the rear shoulder as well. That's where we should focus on it. Now, you don't necessarily want to be pulling these up to the ceiling when you're doing this. You do want to be leading again with the elbows. Now, because of the nature of the bands, what we want to make sure that we're doing is, as we come up, making sure that the wrists stay straight. We don't want to see that holding your handbags, right? What we want is straight wrists and elbows above the wrists all the time, because that is protecting your wrists essentially, right? And it's targeting the right muscles. What I like to do is, as I come up, I'll grip it, put my thumb on the top, so I'm kind of acting like I've got a bar, and then I'm going to turn my hands inwards. So I'm using the benefit of this being a free moving piece of equipment to turn my hands in to make sure that ergonomically I'm getting the best movement possible for my shoulder. Okay guys, that is the last exercise for the pull session. So again, like we did last time, I would say go anywhere between 10 and 15 reps. Try out different resistances to make sure that it's up to scratch for your personal abilities, and I would probably aim at 3 to 4 sets, dependent on how much time you've got and how much of a masochist you are.